outdoor adventure with another Saturday survival tip. Today what we're going to do is how to make yourself a camping spoon when you're in the outdoors. This is a fun project for the family, great when you're out camping with the kids around the fire, or simply if you're in a situation where you forgot your cutlery or are in an emergency and you need something to eat with. This is what you're going to want to know. So this is a start to something simple, like finding yourself a piece of wood that's the right size. Now this right here has got a lot of the work done for it. It's a thin piece of wood, and we're going to split it in two, and we're going to take half of that and we're going to start from there with our spoon. We have our two pieces of wood here, and one of the things we're looking for is something free of knots. There's no knots in these pieces to get in the way of your work. A little bit down here, but we're going to keep away from that end. So you've got this shape right here. Good sized piece of wood, that way start with bigger and then you can make some mistakes. The concept is you're going to want to make your spoon. Again, be conservative, that way you can always adjust it with more fine detail once you get there to that point. Now what you want to do is you're going to start by doing what's called quarter cuts. The quarter cut right here is you're going to start by cutting away and then around, away and around, away and around, away and around. And that's just going to allow you to work that down and make it wider and wider as you go. I'm using a Mora knife, little Mora from Sweden. They're wood carving 120. It's got a nice straight edge and a cut like that. That. As you can see, that just a small depression. That's the process. Work it wider and deeper as you go. If you try to do it too much, you'll tend to split the wood. So I've got a project somewhere around here, right here, that I was working on. As you can see, I tried to do too big of a cut and it split right through the end there. So it shows you got to keep it slow, take your time. If you want something that looks nice, works well, just keep doing that slowly. Now this is a trick that you can use from anything, from starting a bowl or from a point if you're going to be burning something like the noggin we're going to be doing in a later project. As you get deeper and more toward the edges, you don't have to start in the center the whole time, because no spoon is cone shaped. So you can choose another pivot point closer toward the edge to keep up the work, and that'll just allow you to have more of a normal shaped spoon and make the edges a bit easier to carve there. But the principle of a quarter cut is going to keep you from hurting yourself, and it'll also allow you to get that better shape. So as you can see, you're just doing the finer work. Just tidying it up. Now of course this is just functional. Doesn't have to be a thing of beauty. And how much detail you spend on this part is up to you. If you want something that's you're gonna use a lot, or you want to put on your bookshelf, obviously you're gonna spend a bit more time getting out the final details. Maybe even when you get back home, add a bit of sandpaper to tidy that up. So that's your call on that one. Alright, so what I've done is I marked out the general outline of what we're going to do on this thing to cut off the excess. You don't want to be too fine in this part because you're going to want to give yourself a bit of play in case you get a bit too close. And then you can, once you're done that and you've carved it all out, you can do the fine work on it. So we're going to just do that. And in this part, this is the part where you really are going to want to cut away from you. Don't try to take off too much at once because that's where you end up making mistakes. Just do a fine work. It's also where a very sharp knife comes in useful. So just work your way around there, shaping it. Alright, so when you're carving, you have to make sure that, of course, if there are kids around, as there often is around the campfire, you don't cut towards anyone. And of course, be extra careful, especially if the kids are walking around and jumping around. Probably better to put it aside for a little while so that nobody trips and falls into a knife, or that you yourself don't get hurt. Alright, so as you can see, we're much farther along in our progress. We've been cutting along the back area here. Now, I don't want to cut this down too much, especially at the moment, because when you're here working on this part, the fine detail, you don't want it to come down and snap the handle off, right, my friend?
Yeah.
You definitely do not want to cut towards yourself in this. Little cuts. Cut. Get here. There you go. So, just got to tidy up this part here. And there you have your sizable spoon. It's a bit more fine work you could do right here. I don't want to take too much off the back here because it's providing a lot of structure. Your very own wooden cutlery. Alright, so let's see you try this. Be careful as always, and always be very careful. You don't want to end yourself up in the hospital. Get outside, have fun, enjoy yourself, and enjoy the outdoors with your family. Now, if you are really serious about doing this on your own time, doing something a bit more complicated, you might want to look into getting yourself a crook knife, something like this, or like this, so it's going to allow you to properly do some work and a lot more quickly as well.